Entertain a second. Second. Ashley, all those in favor? All those opposed? 11-0-0 vote. We've approved the minutes of the previous meeting. Now we move into our first round of public comment. The first round of public comment will be audio only. Remember, each public comment can last up to 2 minutes, for a total of 30 minutes in public comment. So let me just get my timer out, my phone. Okay, first round of public comment, audio only. Okay, we will move into our audio and visual round of public comment. Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment. Okay, now we will move into special presentations of the council meeting, and we have a special presentation of all of us, introduction. So would our presenters like to come and feel free to set up any PowerPoint videos that you have, and then when you are ready, let me know. Also, we have 15 minutes. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so hello, my name is Rita James, if you don't know.
Hi, I'm Anisha Sada.
So we're part of all of us who here has not heard of all of us. Okay, that's good too. That's always good. So for those who are returning council members, they all have heard this presentation for the most part. And for those who are not, this is just like a brief intro to what all this is, because what we aim to do is the most mental organization is we try to work with on-campus organizations, but particularly within the other offices, 14 offices within the so we're just going to go over what all this is, how it's founded, and then we'll talk about how you all can get involved in all this, because most of your classes and so don't have to do with mental health. Go ahead and first start.
Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background on like why mental health is important, as you can see, like about 31% of college students have been depressed in the past year, and moreover, half of them have experienced severe anxiety, over 80% of them have just been overwhelmed in the past year. And we all know college is something that's really stressful, and we are kind of just here to make sure that everyone knows what to do when they are like, you know, when they need help or need to go to CAP, so they just need someone to talk to.
And it's like, yeah, these are pure statistics, and of course we'll share the presentation to look at, but it's important to put a face to the statistics. If you look around the room, right, when 4 people are affected by mental illness, there's definitely more than 4 people in this room, so chances are that someone in this room is dealing with mental illness, so this is something that's very real on our campus, and it's something that needs to be addressed, not only within each course, but of course in the offices.
So just to give you a little bit of background on like what the difference is between like mental health and mental illness. Well, mental health is kind of a general term that it's kind of just like taking care of your physical health, except it encompasses, you know, your social, psychological, and emotional well-being. Whereas mental illness is like an actual like medical condition that a doctor would like diagnose you on, and you have to get treatment for it, and it impairs like your day-to-day life.
Most people dealing with mental health concerns actually do not receive treatment, especially on college campuses, because of the high rates of stigma and all sorts of other preventing factors. But stigma is the number one reason why students access. So like why we're like all of us, the name where it comes from is like we don't all have a mental illness, but all of us do deal with mental health, whether it's good, bad, or in the process. So that's something like it would be helpful, like as student leaders on this campus, as all of you student officials, like, you know, the work gets tough, it always does, so like that's something you keep in the back of your head that like, you know, someone put a really nice quote one day, it was like, you don't have to be a fire, like, you don't always have to be burning, you know? So like maybe kind of a fire, whatever, that metaphor. So basically, like you don't always have to be there for people, because if you're not there for yourself, then you're not going to be helping other students as well. So just to keep on the back.
Before we get into like what all of this actually does, I want to tell you like how all of this was started. It started 2 years ago by Devin Murphy, who was the president at the time, and Savannah, who was SOEC commissioner. And then this year we actually officially became a part of SOEC's Active Minds. Yay, thank you. And we're going to be working with them officially throughout the year. And basically, we have a three-pronged approach to how we, do work with like our campaign, and it's education, awareness, and advocacy. And advocacy, I would say, is the key to what we really do in all of us, and that's where we really want to program with a lot of you, your offices, and work with you because, like I said, you do have a lot of like mental health platforms, and that's something that we've worked with you in the past, and we want to like continue to do that in the future.
So yeah, like this is just like here are the resources. So all of this, our website is very awesome. If there's any resources that students do, because students will come to you at one point, it's a great resource to offer to your staff members who people who come with you. We have a list of off-campus and on-campus resources. Like language and transportation and prices and insurance data set. And also like how you also can be an upstander, how you can access mental health care yourself. And also how you can get involved. Always offer this website. I always say offer this website, offer like cash resources to like yourself first, your staff second, and then the students because they're the people that you would help most, right? So like this website is a great resource. It just has everything. So just wanted to go in why we're here because I'm sure like as you all said, you mostly know all of us. So at the end of the year, we like to do a transition meeting of like our directors, just so that these are the people you're going to be working with, especially during the next year. So this year, Lauren Green's not here, but my comment and park friend, and I were the campaign managers, and we actually did a lot of events. We had our second mental conference that Christine actually led. And we also did a bunch of great programming events with not only Usac offices like AAC, we work with AAC, we work with gender offices, and we also work with off-campus other non-Usac on-campus organizations, like Indians and like mental health initiative. Yeah, NAMI and all that. So like we're here to make sure that whenever you all need to work on mental health issues or like any of that, even if you don't want to work on it, but you just want resources or people on backgrounds or within your own like platforms or initiatives, like here are the resources that you can talk to. So without I'm gonna announce that our next year's campaign managers will be Anisha Seda and part of Ms. Travis who wasn't able to make it today, but these will be your point people. I will be here next year, so you can always get to me, but I prefer to talk to these two fantastic people. And yeah, they were
Yeah, so I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of like what we really want to focus on next year. We have three different things we want to do. Obviously, advocacy. We want to do our conference again. We're really into marketing, so that's something that we can definitely work on. I'm sure you've seen a lot of our like photo campaigns. So definitely you can get your offices involved, have them participate, because we do want to reach out to a wider set of audience. Really like talk to them and get more people talking about mental health and like end that stigma that's around the issue. So just an example of one of the initiatives that we're working on is making syllabi changes. So at the end of each syllabus that like professors give out, we want to have a short blurb that like just says, hey, if at any point in time like you're overwhelmed, you're really stressed, and you don't know what to do like academically or whatever, like here's a great resource that you can use. And so we want to add like the CAPS hotline in there and like a few other resources, just like you have like every professor has that like plagiarism excerpt. So like we just want to add this in at the end.
So that's what the AAC and all this will be working together.
Yeah. So that's just like one thing that we wanted to do. Something else is like get each like new student that comes in here just exposed to the idea of mental health, just like they're exposed to like alcohol at ECU. They have to go through like sexual assault training kind of, and so we also want to let them know about mental health. So those are our two main initiatives, and in addition to that, obviously we really do want to like do programs with you, like I said, we've done it in the past with like we've done track record, we've done like a very like artistic thing for like mental illness awareness week in like fall quarters. So we do want to continue to do things. So if at any point in time you want to do something that's mental health related, please come talk to me or Artemis. We'd be more than happy to co-program with you.
I would want to ask which offices here are planning initiatives or programs related to mental health? Okay, cool. That's most of you. It really should be all of you, to be honest, because every office I can make somehow each office ties to mental health. Whether it's through CC, you could always do movie screenings, right? Whatever, like you all know, like facilities, you can talk about environmentalism and like problem mental health and environmental racism. So there's all these different like ways you can target, and I do think that this is something that should be on the number one priority, because it's something that usually gets tossed as a buzzword, and it happens, right, like during the sessions and all, like what's tossed around, but I expect, and I think we all expect that this year you all make it an initiative, and like really make it a priority to work on mental health. And you don't have to work with all of us, but, you know, that's something that we do want to see, given that a huge percentage of 18-year-olds to 20-year-olds deal with mental health, and that's something that you all can make a difference on, whether it's through reducing stigma or actually making transformative change. So that's the number here. Our email is allofus.care.ucla@gmail.com. Christina can always let you all know. You can always talk to Christina too, and she'll hear from Christina. But thank you so much for having us. Do you all have any questions?
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when we have a special presentation, the council will have 5 minutes of questions from the council with the representatives. So I guess we'll get started with that. So does any members of the council have any questions?
Yeah, I just kind of useful. Are you planning on having the All of Us instructions, the All of Us conference again this coming year?
Yes, most definitely. We have new conference directors, so we're gonna have like a slightly different theme this year, and we'd like love to have all of you there.
Awesome. Okay.
You touched upon how you wanted to focus on like 3 main things: education, awareness, and advocacy. Could you go into more detail about the advocacy efforts, not just like throughout Usac, but like Usac campuses? I'm interested in hearing about that.
Of course, yeah. So like our advocacy efforts, in addition to the 2 projects that I was kind of saying, those do kind of relate to like advocacy on campus essentially. But expanding beyond that, we really do want to get like a K through 12 mental health curriculum implemented. That was actually something we talked about when we did a lobbying trip to DC, and we do want to like continue that and maybe go to like state legislators and really just like talk to them and see if this is something that they're all interested in, because it like it's something that gets thrown around a lot, like mental health, like something we really want to do. So we want to go see if any representatives are interested in moving that forward.
And as always, like something all mental health organizations do is working on increasing access to resources. There is some good news coming up from CAST. I'm not really sure if they're allowed to share it yet, but there are some really exciting big changes. But that's always something we want to work on, making sure that all students on this campus get, you know, fair and like higher number of visits or more access to these critical mental health services. So it's like also not only on campus, but we also do work on touching on reason like throughout the state, working with UCSA or working with state national campus organizations to.
Yeah.
So one of our platforms really concentrates on, building a better mental health through sexual awareness, mindful awareness, self-expression, things like that. Going to the All of Us conference this past time around, there was actually a workshop on like, mindful expression. So I was just wondering, in terms of like, if we plan to like hold these programs, is that something you'd be interested in, like, more self-care, programming workshops, things like that?
Of course, yeah, that's definitely something that we still want to continue, and we want to like program with you on that. Like that's something that we like people when we talk to like students, they really enjoy like arts and crafts kind of events. They really enjoy those, and they're like, yeah, like it really helped me de-stress. Like we've done something on like my art, like it's something we definitely like.
Any other questions? Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your presentation. Yeah. And just at the point, when the agenda was sent out last week, the PowerPoint was included in the agenda, so feel free to refer back to that. And I know Ray gave us all the email. Actually, can you repeat that one more time, just in case anyone wanted to write that down?
So it's allofus.care.ucla@gmail.com. You can also like just message our faces.
So I'm sure all of you, if you're interested, to reach out and, I know we're just starting, but so with that, we'll move into our first appointments of the year. Really excited about it. So our first appointment is going to be for the position of like review director. So I'll let Sabrina kind of do an overview of that.
Give me 2 seconds, my computer just froze. Hold on. Okay, so we're doing budget. Oh, yes. Budget review director. Yes, right here. Okay, so. Okay, that's it. All right, so we have Johnny right here behind us. He came forth as the appointment for budget review director. The budget review director. Do you have it? Saying that under here? Okay, so budget review director, for those of you who don't know, the chair, verifies USAC budgets, in accordance with all ASUCLA and university regulations, and make sure that all budgets are sufficiently documented. The BRC also, or the budget review committee, and what Jordan will be doing as budget review director, will be making recommendations on USAC officers' budgets, or our budgets, and for those recommendations to us for approval. So yeah, he oversees student recommendations as well. There's a lot involved in it. It's a very important appointment to have. And he did incredible. It was actually a 3-0-0 in approval for him. He's very qualified. He knows what he's doing. So ARC fully recommends him for the position.
Okay, thank you, Spring. So now I believe the proper protocol is to invite Johnny up to give your introductory remarks. And so whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, again my name is Johnny Yap and I'm here hoping to continue being Usac's budget review director. I'm a second year WAC major from Madison, Wisconsin, hoping to pursue education administration. As the assistant budget review director for fall and winter quarter of this year, I have learned the ropes I quickly and successfully allocating student operational and programming funds in this campus. When the last year we resigned at the end of winter quarter, I was equipped with the task of finishing the year strong. During my career here so far as PRD, I have noticed lots of issues that I hope to address as chair of the budget review committee.
So now I believe we'll go into a round of questions. We just ask questions, or is there a time?
Usually it's 1 minute for opening and closing, and then about 5 minutes for questions, and then you can choose to extend that time period if you wish.
Okay, so then I'll get that ready. So, okay, we start with questions. So questions from the council.
Given your experience on the budget review committee this year, you said you identified many issues. What are some of those issues you hope to address for this upcoming year? Yeah, so some of the issues are transparency, efficiency, and funding literacy. So the finance committee does a great job of holding workshops to educate the student leaders on this campus about the funding opportunities. The budget review committee has been very visible in that process, and I think for calibration that will work very well. And I am really close to the candidate for the next science major, so I think that will be very awesome. Another thing is when the hearing process is very confusing. Currently, when people sign up, they sign up and then everything is blank. So sometimes people forget, we don't send out reminders. That's an issue that I also want to address, so making that a lot more transparent. Another issue is our online presence. All of the documents online on the Usac website are from 2011, 2012. That's when I was in 6th and 7th grade. So budget review committee next year will definitely make a change to that.
Great. Additional questions from the council? Okay, then you'll have 1 minute for your closing, Johnny, whenever you're ready.
Alright, so like I said, the last time online apps and guidelines was updated was 2011, 2012, and I was in 6th or 7th grade. So as a budget review director again, I hope to finally regain our committee's online presence and revitalize our outreach strategies. The budget review committee will ease the funding process next year for all student groups in this campus. So as budget review director, I can promise that student security funds will not only continue funding the amazing organizations and events in this campus, but the BRC will also revise the allocation process and guidelines to increase transparency, efficiency, and funding literacy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. So now the council will move into a discussion and then a vote. But before that, we always ask all candidates for appointments out of respect to you. You can remain in the room when we are going to discuss and when we vote, or you can step outside your preference. So okay, great. So can I entertain a motion to I apologize. This would be, the proper wording would be a motion to, I move to,
Yes, it needs an engineer motion that we've done for the budget.
okay, so can I entertain a motion?
I move to approve Johnny, yeah.
Well, my, UCLA official name is John Yang, but I go by John Ya, because that's my culture.
Okay, or is it John Yang / John Ya, for budget review?
Okay, we don't need a vote, so.
So we'll go into discussion.
Okay, so then we'll go into discussion, so any comments from council?
Yeah, I think you were well prepared. I really like what you had to say and given this experience, and especially what you talked about in terms of the Usac website, something that I've struggled with quite a bit, and so, seeing updated on this stuff really makes it so.
And I'd just like to commend you for taking like the initiative in order to like make sure that, you know, these issues are town level, and transparency or revising, you know, the funding allocation process and whatnot, so thank you so much.
Great. Additional discussion from council?
When we were interviewing earlier, you mentioned the idea of like equity and how like we want to, equitably kind of like reallocate these resources. So different student groups that haven't, received in like equal funding in the past. So that's something that's like, that really like got to me because that's really important. And like having someone like you in that position would be really good, especially because, you have more experience. Arguably like anyone else that I could think of right now. So, yeah, it's up to you. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah, Sabrina.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was, one of the people that interviewed him, and we asked him some tough questions. He was very well prepared, very qualified for this position, had incredible answers to all of our questions, so full support.
I just think something, one word on this is, when we were assigned to standing committees last week, rotating on a quarterly basis, each of you council members will have a chance to sit on the budget review committee along with Johnny. So just, keep in mind that, it's a really important position to have a strong applicant for because you're going to be participating in that process, approving funds pursued, for ACCOA Board of Directors Fund, and, other funding sources. So that's just another word I wanted to contribute, but any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, can I, entertain a motion to?
You call the question, and then you want to-
Okay. Maybe we can call the question.
I called previous question.
Okay, and, seeing no other points of discussion, we'll move right into the vote. So all those in favor of approving Johnny Young as the next budget review director? Wait, not one more time, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, wait for a second. Okay, let me just do it one more time. All those opposed? All those abstaining? To a 13-0-0 vote, Johnny is approved as budget review director. Yeah. Great, thank you, Johnny. And now we move into our next appointment of the evening for the position of finance committee chair. Sabrina?
All right, so we also have the pleasure of interviewing Kevin for Finance Committee Chairperson. You all know Stephanie, she's the current Finance Committee Chairperson, and so Kevin will be taking over in the upcoming academic year. And so, well known as FICON, they oversee the annual budget of the Undergraduate Student Association Council, AAS, and ensures that the council has a stable budget. The Finance Committee meets weekly. They're entrusted by Usac to review, analyze, investigate, receive all budget and financial requests dealing with appropriation of student funds. So once again, another really incredibly important position to have, a very qualified, strong presence. And ARC, we interviewed him, and we have a 3-0-0 vote as well, and approval for him. We thought he was very qualified. He knew what he was doing. He was welcoming. He knew what issues had been happening in past years and how to correct them. He seems to be someone who will be very efficient for the job.
Okay, great. So now can I entertain a motion? Or wait, before that I apologize. Kevin, you want to come up to the front? I'm getting ahead of myself. So you have, you'll have 1 minute for, starting whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Taylor, third year business economics major, also migrating today. I've been with the finance committee for 3 years now, 2 years as a general member, and I served as vice chair this year. I also served a brief stint during the summer as interim chair. I also partake in VITA, volunteer income tax assistant, where I assist Usac residents in filing their tax returns. I'm also part of QA for their Pride Admin weekend, where I mentor admitted high school students and try to convince them to SIR to UCLA. And so, past years of being part of my time, I gained a lot of knowledge experience, especially under the tutelage of Stephanie Watt and also my previous chairpersons. I hope for the coming year to actually work on the universal funding application. I've been talking with the webmasters of the feasibility of that. Also, I like to officialize audit coordinator positions in our committee audit coordinator position to hold student allocations more accountable. And so I believe that the knowledge and gained experience working with the chairperson committee also with so, and also with administration and working as for workshops. I believe I can best utilize these experiences and knowledge as chairperson for the coming year and hope to be engaged. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Now we will take 5 minutes of questions from the council. Starting now.
Easy on this.
Yes. Is there anything that you've been thinking you'd like to change from the way funding decisions were made this past year?
Any decisions? Can you go into specifics on that?
The way, the process by which your committee would make recommendations, allocations for contingency, for example.
I believe the current platform that we have, we do it based on quantifying our applications on the scope of the event and also the quality of the application. I think that's very fair, and we try to gauge the average of applications to better efficiently allocate equally and very effective.
Additional questions from the council? Okay, then that will conclude our question. Now, Kevin, you'll have 1 minute for your close.
For my closing, well, I want to thank you all for allowing me this opportunity to apply for the chair position. I want to say that I'm very committed to the finance committee, and it's not saturated based on the privilege of having an office or the stipend itself. That's because I genuinely care about the students, and I genuinely want to assist them. Whether it be showing them where FJ offices, is because essentially forgotten as a culture, everyone gets lost. Or also just telling them the allocations or their account numbers. I'm really committed towards the finance committee. It's done a lot of good for the students, and I hope to continue that on as chairperson with your approval. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Kevin. So now, before we move into our round of debate and vote, Kevin, you have the option to stay sitting in the room, or you can go out with your choice. Okay, sure, so can I entertain a motion to?
I move to approve Kevin. You for the finance committee chair.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, so already on, now let's move into discussion. So, any members of the council have any?
Yeah, Kevin mentioned how he wants to do this, he wants to be there for the students, I've definitely seen that this year. But Stephanie hasn't been in her office to answer my questions. Kevin's always been there, and I really appreciate that, and he's more than qualified to sat out the state before, and Stephanie hasn't been here, and he's done a great job, and I'm confident that he's going to continue his great work.
Thank you, Maria. Additional?
I was really impressed with you, Kevin. I think he's very diplomatic in nature, which is an important quality to have, and I think it's going to be a really great fit for the position.
Great. Additional? And discussion? Commentary? Yeah.
I was just also to say, we interviewed him and we all thought he was incredibly qualified for this position. He has been in finance for 3 years now, which was really incredible to see that type of qualification and commitment to the finance committee. So ARC broke down full support, and approval for him to do things in the as well.
Great. Any additional discussion on the appointment of Kevin?
Counting is pretty scary. I haven't seen that really nice guy. I like that.
Okay, entertain, member answer the follow question. Okay, now it's going to vote for Kevin. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? So 13-0 vote. Kevin, you have been approved as FICOM chairperson. Thank you, Kevin. With that, we conclude our appointment approvals for the next council meeting. Just keep on your radar for next week. I did ask in a previous, when I messaged all of the council members that I'm asking for next week to have an abbreviated council meeting, where we'll be approving a few appointments. To be exact, we'll most likely be approving 4 appointments for the community activities committee. There's 4 positions. Those 2 positions for ASUCLA board of directors. I know it's finals week, so I'll ask that we adjust the agenda for next week's meeting so you can have time to get back to study. So just keep that on your radar. With that being said, now we move into officer and member reports, beginning with president. So this week, since we're not going to have a meeting next week, I wanted to just go over all the different meetings and different programs I'm working on in the coming week, since we our last official report for the summer. Tomorrow, I'm going to sit down with outgoing Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dean Montero, as well as Bob Michaels, who's the director for the Intern Alumni Network, along with a few people, such as Chris Howell from the Career Center, to talk about the establishment of an intern network for UCLA students. I think that this is a platform that I'm very passionate about for the campaign. I'm really excited to see how we can work with different parts of our alumni network, as well as administration, to really create new opportunities for students across our campus, from across different disciplines, to engage with internship opportunities. I think that's a super key part of the UCLA experience, so that you can prepare yourself adequately for your postgraduate success. Something else I'll be doing is on Thursday, I'll be sitting down with the new interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs over lunch, Monroe Gordon, along with Mick DeLuca and Mike Cohn, Director of Soul, to really just talk about forging a relationship with USAC. Because as you all will come to know, if you don't know already, Student Affairs is the main administrative body that works with USAC, that works with the various student groups on campus. So I think really starting up a strong dialogue to see what sort of issues in terms of campus climate, in terms of other things that we want to see from our administration and that we want to work with them on, to start building that relationship. So that's something I'm really excited to work on, but you all know how that goes. Additionally, I hope that you all can join me this Friday night for the USAC Alumni Gala, where we'll have a lot of different alumni for USAC there. It's the last event that outgoing President Heather Rosen has put on. It's going to be a fundraiser of sorts. We're trying to raise money for middle income affordability, additionally to the USAC endowment. So that would be a really great event if you all are able to attend that. That's Friday night in the Bruin Reception Room, I believe at 6 p.m. In addition to that, this Saturday I will be attending my first UCLA Alumni Association board meeting here in Akron Grand Ballroom. In your capacity as president, I serve on the board for the Alumni Association. So I'm really excited to engage with other board members, introduce myself, and see what ways in the future we can really work closely with our Alumni Association. And finally, just as another reminder, we have received a lot of applications for appointments, and I'm really excited to do another push for that in the next 2 weeks, to just get as many appointments as we can in the system before our students leave for their summer activities. So just keep an eye out for more appointments on the horizon. So that concludes my report. Sabrina?
All right, so we started up ARC this week, which is very exciting. Shout out to everyone on it for working out like the time limits and schedules. I know you're all doing office interviews as well, but we have 6 more coming up, so that'll be fun. And then as for my office, we have applications for our directors out, and we're doing interviews right now. Very lucky to have very, very qualified people applying. It'll be tough decisions, but very lucky to have that. And then also, please, like, if you don't have the email information for your office or you're not checking it, get the information and check it. Just because I can send you out the agendas from that, send you out reminders, et cetera, et cetera. So please get your email information and actually check it, preferably daily, but, you know, if not frequently. And then for IBP, we're doing our like first event as the new office. We're putting on the Usac Final Study Hall this Friday. It's like late at night, so it's gonna be from like 9 p.m. To midnight in Acton Grand Ballroom. They've got hopefully coffee and snacks and stuff. And also just lots of tables and outlets for everyone to just kind of have a quiet place to study. Spread the word, come yourself if you want to. Yeah, that's all we have for IBP.
And one thing I wanted to add, I apologize after my report, I did not ask the council that any questions. That's something that I should be doing, I kind of just forgot. So if you have any questions for my report, and now for the additional vice president, any questions? Okay, none, we are the external vice president.
The ADP office has officially taken on staff of 25, which is quite large, but we are very strategically organized. We're really trying to streamline the advocacy process for all the work we're doing to ensure that we're doing a lot more than direct advocacy, but there's going to be a lot more coming out of that. In terms of legislative news, we have two very, very exciting things from the California State Legislature this past week. Two bills, AB 2017 and 1747, have both passed out of their individual committees and will be heard on the floor of the legislature for a vote. 1747 will require universities to accept CalFresh EBT point system for low-income students who can't afford food in our campuses, which is really, really a big deal for the issue of food insecurity that we're talking about. And 2017 will allow universities to apply for a matching grant of up to $5 million for mental health services. These are two bills that both UCLA, EDP, as well as UCSA as a whole has done a lot of work on in the past year. It's extremely rare that we'll have two bills that were our focus for the year that both make it to this stage. It's highly likely that both of them will pass now that they're going to the floor. But I commend all of the students, including all of us, and we have a lot of their staff who worked on 2017 for getting them to where they are. It's truly a testament to the student voice working. So, any questions on that?
Okay, thank you to the external vice president. Now we'll move on to our academic affairs commissioner, Ashley.
Alright, so this past week we've been conducting interviews. Tomorrow is officially our last day. The AC office is privileged enough to have about 93 applicants for both staff and equipment, so it's been about 8-hour-long days of interviews, but tomorrow is the last day. I'm looking forward to kind of finalizing the staff and be able to look out for more appointments to come to AIC. It's exciting. And then more news, I'm meeting with Susan Cochran, who's the academic senate chair, to discuss the faculty advisor roles. I'm looking forward to that, hopefully sometime in this week, but I'll have more updates hopefully next council meeting.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you to the academic affairs commissioner. And now for our administrative representatives. No? No? Dr. Geller?
Nothing next week.
Usually go off them, but I like having that. So,
You're used to.
I'm used to it, but a couple things. So, as I mentioned last week, there is still a lot of items that are in the hallway. Please, if you can, label these, because we received some complaints from the custodial that they're not sure if they're supposed to be removing these items or whatnot. They're not wanting to throw away items that aren't supposed to be removed. But they're all going to be being removed tomorrow. So if you need something that's in the hallway, please put it back into your office today, because as of tomorrow, they will all be removed from the hallway. In the future, if you have large pieces of trash or large quantities of trash or furniture, please contact my office directly and we can coordinate pickup from inside your office. It really is a safety hazard to have the hallways filled with stuff. So we want to make sure that it's cleared as possible. I understand people are moving in and moving out and doing cleaning, but
let's see if we can do correct procedures so we can avoid, clutter and all. So yes, everything will be removed as of tomorrow. If you can label things, that'd be great, and bring anything into your office that you want to keep. Secondly, I have received word from ASUCLA and Ed Services, which we kind of touched on last week, about outstanding balances from some of the Usac offices. And this could perhaps affect your programming for next year. So you want to make sure that these bills are paid as soon as possible. So reach out to your predecessors. I will be sending emails to all the USAC groups that are expecting, that have outstanding bills. So that's about half of you all at this table. I won't name you all out individually, but just expect an email from me. So just make sure you get those paid if you want to make sure that it doesn't affect your programming next year. And that's all I have.
All right. Okay, and that will conclude our administrative representatives' reports. And now we'll move into fund allocations, the contingency program. So Stephanie?
So there are only 14 signatures and the USAC offices that applied this past week. The total amount required was $16,309.15. The total amount requested was $8,399.29, and the amount recommended by the finance committee was $2,276.
I'm moving the contingency programming allocation for $2,276.
Sabrina? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? The 13-0 vote, the contingency allocation has been approved. Okay. And that is our only funding allocation for tonight's council meeting. Now we will move into old business, and we will pick back up a resolution in support of transgender communities and allies at the University of California, Los Angeles. So the co-sponsors of the resolution would like to come to the front of the room and we'll engage in that process. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's been some changes.
Whereas the study by the LGBTQ+ education network revealed that 90% of transgender students surveyed had experienced derogatory remarks at school with respect to gender expression, only 11% of these students reported that school staff intervened upon hearing such negative. And
Whereas the UCLA faculty and staff, beginning with Undergraduate Student Association Council, USAC members and offices will be accountable to this resolution, allowing them to understand the role they can play in allyship. And
whereas gender identity disorder is listed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual 4th edition, a guidance by mental health professionals to diagnose psychological conditions. Transgender identity is not a mental illness and cannot be remediated with treatment. Rather, transgender people experience consistent difference between assigned sex and understanding of gender.
So after I did more research on this in terms of, I was just looking for that as a source, the DSM-4. They're actually releasing an updated version of DSM-5 within this next year. And so what it helps to do is replace gender identity disorder with the term gender dysphoria, which implies that as a mental state of mind rather than an all-encompassing disorder, to relieve the stigma of, I want to word it a little differently, but to remove the stigma of being labeled as a disorder in general. So as, I guess, the climate on this issue changes, like, as does this manual. So, I was gonna ask council, I guess, what your thoughts are, and even, like, should we put this?
I believe, after we should just, after we do it, then we'll move into a discussion.
Yeah, that's just something to think about. We'll leave the rest of it.
Whereas understanding the term transgenderism is outdated and an incorrect way of referring to a person that identifies as transgender or non-binary.
Whereas only 39% of people in America, exceptionally low number as of January 2009, are covered by anti-discrimination laws that include gender identity in the workplace, and
Whereas 70% of transgender people report being denied entrance to, harassed, or assaulted in the bathroom.
Let it be resolved that the transfer student representative, student wellness commissioner, general representative 3, and cultural affairs commissioner will partner with the LGBT center and the facilities commissioner to partake in advocating for more single-cell all-gender restrooms.
Let it be further resolved that allied training sessions will be administered to undergraduate student association council, officers, and their staff, keeping the association accountable for attendance.
let it be further resolved that the Undergraduate Students Association Council will advocate for more sustainable funding sources for the LGBT Center to continue its work on the UCLA campus.
Let it be further resolved that the Undergraduate Student Association will continue to support the LGBT Center as they advocate a program for more LGBT career-oriented seminars. These seminars allow the LGBTQ+ students on the UCLA campus to be able to obtain and understand careers they may pursue.
So let's just say let it final computer.
So is that the resolution? Okay, so now can I entertain a motion to approve? Yeah.
I move to approve the resolution titled "A Resolution in Support of Transgender Communities and Allies at the University of California, Los Angeles."
Okay.
We have to change it to allyship due to an edit that just tested. If you look at the top, you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can change mine.
We're eager now. So now we move into our first round of this, and we'll be discussing like language, syntax, not like the actual content of the resolution. So now, Keon, if you want to make a suggestion.
Okay, I suggest I move to change
You can just stop that, so we'll do all of it. Cool. And then the end, we can all do it. Yeah, no, don't worry.
Okay, so first of all, I guess we'll start at the top. So, Michael decided, or suggested that we change to allyship, because we're not in support of allies, but we're rather in support of allyship in general, because it's not the allies that need, advocacy. And then we also, if you scroll down, this bullet right here, since it persists of what we as a council are doing, should that be changed to let it be resolved? Or let it be resolved?
Sabrina?
I have a few like word changes and additions. So first on the 6 whereas, I think it has to be whereas only 39% of people in America, comma, and exceptionally low. And then also, I think we should put an and on the 3rd whereas. And for the let it be resolved, the first let it be resolved needs an and then the 3rd let it be resolved needs an and. And then you said let it finally be resolved at the end.
Okay. Additional.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the 4th, whereas, it says the DSM-5 plans to replace. The DSM-5 is actually, it was released in 2013, so I think it's already been released.
The DSM-5? Okay, so I guess we just,
You should say replace.
replace, yeah.
And just a suggestion, you could say something along the lines of, how it was replaced with that term to highlight the distress that people were feeling.
What if we just, idea, what if we just go, which implies that it is a mental state of mind rather than an all-encompassing disorder? I think that already implies the stigma of this. I think verbiage is too much at this point.
this is something I mentioned I think last week, but I should have emailed you guys that. For the first, like, be resolved, I feel like it just would be more powerful if we had all USAC offices partnering with LGBT Center and like the facilities commissioner. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, it's just like accountability, it's like, will all these have?
I think that's kind of like the point of the resolution we passed at all.
We can say on behalf of USAC, the transportation representative. That's something that someone brought up last time, that I think is applicable to this.
I think if it's changed to the undergraduate student association, just because not every single office is actively partnering, it's still the undergraduate students association because we're all in the same council. I do agree, just because there's so many offices, it just seems a little weird. And also, I think that's the point of like why we're all voting on it. But I don't know what, because I know Dr. Geller brought it up last time, but I don't know what, like, if that's just a style thing, or if it's supposed to be.
I think what, someone, it might have been Dr. Geller last week that suggested, what each member will do, but I feel like that might be too much in terms of like having to break that up. But
So my point on this is, my perspective on this is, I'm personally comfortable changing to undergraduate association council, but then there has to be further conversation of like not being an EVP, probably more to explore more resources for the LGBT center, even if it's an external commission, how would we work on that? It's the idea of accountability and holding ourselves.
That's what I'm like talking about. I mean, I reached out to a lot of you, and some of you were hesitant to get involved, and that's kind of why I was like, I can keep these, like, all four of us accountable. We're very comfortable with being part of this, and making sure that we advocate on behalf of the center, and make sure all those, the allyship training and funding get advocated for, and that's why the final decision was to be made that type of way. We can say on behalf of USAC, these offices will, but it's just an idea of accountability. I don't want to put everyone's name on it if they're not doing something involved with the resolution. I don't know, I don't feel comfortable with that, but if everyone agrees to be doing that, then like, I hope that everyone has an accountability to the resolution, because that's the idea of us being representative of the population.
And maybe a suggestion, if we could scroll up to the top here, where we had talked about moving that part about USAC to the very end, maybe take this second whereas here, turn and make this the last, let it finally be resolved. So that way, it's like, we'll be held accountable to this resolution and end with that, so that way it is emphasizing USAC. Because that one part, like you said, is particularly these offices advocating for these things on this campus. But I think bringing in the whole USAC at the very end of here.
Just going back to the big whereas, sorry. It says mental state of mind, but I feel like that's first of all redundant, but also I feel like that also suggests that it might be temporary or change the whole state of mind, which is not exactly the message we want to give. I think something we might want to do would be like a state of distress.
Yeah, do you want to remove it?
No, I don't think it has to be removed. I think I'm not sure that's the best wording for that.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
The main reason for that, a lot of people wanted to take it out of the DSM totally because, we don't want it to be considered as a mental illness.
Right.
But, there are benefits and there are downsides to it. The benefits are that, like, in terms of legal action, it's easier for someone from the transgender community to get attention from, let's say, if they're filing a lawsuit or something, they can kind of say that, oh, I have gender dysphoria, and it's easier to get that attention, but at the same time, there are these negative consequences that arise from being labeled disorder, I guess.
Oh,
So-
wait, is that in reference to gender identity disorder, not to gender dysphoria?
Yes.
Okay, then I understood.
No.
Wait, so
I
the
feel
state of mind.
I feel more comfortable if it says, which implies that gender identity disorder is not all encompassing.
Yeah, I think we just showing that a little bit.
gender.
Identity disorder
Is
is
not.
not an all encompassing disorder.
Yeah, just take it out.
Wait. Yes.
this, I would say it, because it says gender.
Yeah.
But then if we still refer to it as gender identity disorder, then it wouldn't.
It's saying like with the term gender dysphoria, which is how gender identity disorder is not. It's like higher than what specifically talking about.
More gender.
I'm just gonna go back. So, for like the first, like the resolve where it names like your specific offices, I do understand that like you are the ones that like put all this work and effort into it, you're the ones that reach out to it, like, I know like myself in my office, like love to help with advocacy and will like keep ourselves accountable, I mean, with or without our name being on it. But I think it just, as a resolution being voted on, I really do feel strongly that, I mean, hopefully all of our officers will keep ourselves accountable and each other accountable, but I think it just makes a lot more sense to have like, either specific things that your officers are gonna work on.
We should do specific things.
Or-
Every office in Usac wants to do something like that would be, something that we should be doing. I don't know, there's just like, it's the last part of it, and it's what, reiterating what Amy said, it's an idea of putting your name on it and being accountable for what the actions are. I think the last part of the therefore, or the letter be resolved with all of Usac encompassing it.
And I just added it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that we can't, like, I want this to actually be a resolution that we do, like, that gets done, not that it's just words. So I think that through putting our names on it and our offices on it, keeps us very accountable to the advocacy, to making sure that we team up with our facilities commissioner and do all those things that we want to do within the resolution, and then making sure that we, as four people, keep USAC involved with the hourship training and things like that. We would love your help in any way that we want, but I know that we can keep ourselves accountable, and it's difficult, like Michael Starr said the last time, to keep 13 people accountable for one thing. I think that the last part encompasses USAC, but just having people be accountable for the advocacy of the single stall restrooms and things like that just makes more sense to be able to meet with advisors and meet with administration as four of us for this resolution.
Definitely.
Perhaps a compromise, how do you feel about saying something like, let it be resolved that on behalf of USAC,
Yeah, exactly.
the student wellness commissioner, geographic cultural affairs commissioner.
The authors feel about that,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because at the end of the day, the verbiage is essentially not for us, it's for students that read it, so they know what offices to like, who wanted it. Because at the end of the day, you can put the names at the top, it's not people who know our positions are behind it, like, you can propose to that one person that supports it, not the whole office. So that's why I think that with the compromise and putting, undergraduate student association council, it also shows that all the councils on board for it.
Good.
I think I've got to echo Grace's concerns there in that sense, like, I believe that a resolution is something where, like, it's the views of all the council, right? When a council passes it, like, a resolution is the views of every member of council. And then, I get where you're coming from in the sense of, like, trying to, like, have places where they can specifically go, but be, like, and instead, like, I feel like that's an issue, like, maybe, like, each of those four offices can issue a directive on their own, saying like reach out to us. I wouldn't necessarily, consider that for like.
So what I'll say to that is, once again, as I said before, I'm perfectly comfortable if you want to take it outside of the resolve with all the specific, like offices listed, but it's also going back to like, I will hold all of you accountable.
And I think that, like, through this resolution, we've already seen that a lot of people, like, just to be honest, like, didn't reach out to the four of us to make sure that these things went through. And so keeping us four accountable to this resolution and to the things that were said just makes more sense. Advocating for the single stall restrooms, advocating for funding, making sure that I've seen all these people at those different events for researching for the resolution and things like that. I think that it's like a compromise. As USAC, we will be like working with I don't think it's something that, but yes.
One thing I will just say, this is the council's first resolution that they've embarked on. And I think that it's worth noting that this is really a learning experience for all of us, and like how we want to move forward as a united council voice in terms of demonstrating, our commitment to the issues that students on this campus care about. So I say that, I think it's perfectly fair and good that you're expressing the reservations about the formulating of this resolution, but also really, recognize that this is, our first resolution the council has done, that, aside from a few of us that are returning, this is a totally new process about how we're going to outreach to this group and that group, and how we're going to carry ourselves in forming these resolutions, is that we want to hold ourselves to make sure that, we are recognizing that this is a learning experience, and that in the future, I think this is a great model to work off in terms of future resolutions and how we want to really be critical and how we want to involve groups on campus that are affected, and how we want to involve fellow council members. So that's just something that I encourage you all to do now. And I think that's where I'm going.
I'm fine whenever everyone decides they want to do in this particular case, but I do think we should use this as an opportunity to discuss what is the purpose of a resolution. A resolution is not meant to be a binding contract, it's meant to be a statement of support for something, right? The EVP every year will bring up a number of different items that we say, the council supports this bill, the council supports this, proposition. Is it saying that any office can do something about it? No, I don't think that's to say resolutions can't do that. But in terms of keeping people accountable, like, frankly, to me, writing in a resolution, we're gonna hold people accountable, is seemingly, it seems meaningless, because who says that that's gonna be, they're gonna be held accountable to holding us accountable, and who's gonna be, who's in charge of the accountability task force then, right? Like, this is not a bylaw or a policy, it's a resolution. And that's why I'm also concerned about the allyship training. I don't know if that's something that we already have instituted for council members. Is that something we do already, or a new program that we're
The LGBT center said we don't have it. They said that we would love to have different officers, like through the four of us, making sure that we are all accountable as a council to go to allyship training, and then have our offices as well. And the reason why we're advocating for more funding is because we don't have enough resources in the LGBT center to have a lot of allyship training like the faculty that we want to do. And I specifically reached out to you, I think when you were in Washington, to help advocate for us, and you said it was like an internal matter, and something that you wouldn't be able to kind of go off of, which is the phone call that we have, and that's why I want to make sure that we're accountable, and that's something that we can do on the council. So I hope that.
Yeah, I think we should go into more specifics on the allyship.
Yeah.
In terms of that clause. But just in terms of the rest of it, like EDP, for example, we are having a team of people who have already been hired to work on issues facing the LGBT community, right? But it all depends what bills are coming up and what policies we can be working on. We definitely want to help support it, but I don't think, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to say we want to, how can, we hold every single office accountable to
this individual. Yeah, if we were to just be like, hey, let's all at Usac just walk into the LGBT center and advocate for funding, it wouldn't work. Let's keep the four of us able to be accountable, the four of us that research, the four of us that have put our heart and soul in this thing to make sure that we have research, we do know the facilities to go to, we do know the directors to meet with, and that way we can get this done on behalf of Usac. So you all can go about your offices, go about your interviews and things like that you have been doing for the past week while this resolution was being written.
Okay, Zoe, I'm sorry, you're
First, I just want to thank you all for putting in so much effort in revising this resolution for the recommendations of the council from last week, because I really do see that you put your heart and soul into this. I think it would be, my concern with the current language is that it pigeonholes. It only places the task at hand on you four, when I can't speak for everyone on the table, but I can assume that every single person would at least like to educate themselves better about this issue and how they can be an ally. Right, and I think that being included in the language of this resolution, why pigeonhole when we can educate and work as a council together? And I understand wanting to take ownership over
the resolution and being accountable. I completely understand wanting to be accountable, but I think Rafi makes a good point. Who's the accountability police? Why can we not just police ourselves in terms of accountability? We are all elected because we are accountable human beings, and I think that personally, I wasn't reached out to on this resolution.
There was a groupie, so there were many forms of ways that you could have contacted any four of us. The edits were made, not many emails were sent out, but there were also, I was listing different discussions, different dialogues. Bree went to one of them, different dialogues, panels, and the LGBT meeting was completely transparent. Anyone could have had a part in it. And again, the resolution Danny sent in a group me, and we can pull up the group if you want. No one really reached out to us when he said these three, these four are going to be accountable for the resolution. It doesn't matter. We're all leaders here. We could have been reached out to. It doesn't matter how many names we got on there.
So
but we know that the accountability will be in our hands. If we are the
so I understand and acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to not let the past be the past and to move forward and make sure we're giving all offices the opportunity to be accountable for themselves. And have you four, if you feel this is something that you want to take on, be kind of the beacon and the people that can go into these spaces initially, but to keep it as these four names solely, kind of just.
I would actually let Sandra step in. She's been holding her hand the whole time. Just to, like weigh in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I think the question is, I guess, what is the purpose of the resolution? And I just wanted to mention something that I read in the bylaws. Firstly, it says that 5B says that resolution shall express the opinion of the Undergraduate Students Association Council. And then on part I, it says, no author or sponsor's name shall be included in any published resolution. So I think that might bring up the question of, is this a specific author or sponsor's name that is being included?
But none of our names are being included. Our offices are being included. So as a whole, our office will make sure that we're accountable as at the end of the resolution where it says, all of Usac would be like, make sure that the allyship training is done. As Zoe said before, like, I think if you all want to make sure you're accountable and email Raja and the LGBT centers to make sure that you schedule your appointment, I would love to have you all do that on your own. But I mean, making sure that there are reminders and things like that from us four will make sure that you're accountable for it as well. I mean, we're all accountable individuals, but we all get busy. And I know we all have platforms and things like that, and it was shown through the resolution being written. There was a lot of things going on. People have midterms, people have interviews, things like that. Applications are going out. So to make sure that these four things, I don't want a resolution to be a stop sign and just for USAC to be like, oh, USAC will advocate for this, because all of us won't. At the end of the day, we need people that are point people that will be able to go into spaces, not only as allies, because we're all allies of this space, but as like advocates, making sure that we do have the funding and the knowledge and the names of directors so we can enter those spaces and make sure that we do have those things on the restrooms advocated for, the funding for the center, and the allyship training.
Okay, Dina.
I have three questions. One, will you be accountable for this resolution to be passed if your name's not on it or if your office is being done? This is the first question.
I mean, who's going to do it for that?
Will you be accountable for it? I'm saying like, we all will obviously, but will you personally?
Okay. Yeah.
I think the four of us will be accountable regardless, and, you know, regardless of if our name's on it, like, we're not here to get the credit for any of these things. I just don't feel like it's good to close off our other offices from becoming like involved later on. You know, like for Rafi's example, like if a certain bill is passed, maybe later on they can give their contribution.
That's like not to this though. Like that was for Amy.
Okay, Amy.
So this really wasn't supposed to be this meeting. Okay, so I think, let's just clarify. At the end, we will all be voting on this, right? That's fine and great and good. And as I said before, I don't mind taking out that one spot that says transfer student now, local for commissioner, community service, and I don't mind taking that out at all. The only problem that I see here is that the idea we have to recognize that this resolution is not for us specifically, it's for students on this campus that were hurt by the comments that were made. That being said, when I say accountability, and I will hold y'all accountable to it, is the idea that when these students come to you or email you, will you have already done an allyship sessions? Will you be able to have thought-provoking conversations that are productive for them? So do feel like you did support it. Because at the end of the day, when they see that vote, which I'm hoping is like 13-0-0, they're going to think every single office is approachable, and I hope that's true in reality. Because these students already feel like they're not supported, and they also feel like the LGBT center doesn't have enough resources to support them, and they know how much money goes into Usac, because that's what they on SGA budget website. So the idea is, are you willing, one, at times to put money aside to program events for them? Are you going to go to the events and be co-programmers with them? Are you going to sit down and have conversations with them? And are you going to go to these allyship sessions? That's what I mean by accountability, because when they email you, I want you to be able to not feel attacked by those people that feel like you have no idea what's going on, you just voted for it. That's why I'm saying I'm perfectly fine with taking out that one clause. My name wasn't even about to be on this, to be honest, and I said that was fine, but I would still go to the allyship training. I would still go to all the events. So the thing is, I think it's just a question for y'all, are you willing to hold yourself to that? Because I certainly, because I'm going to be honest, usually when these things happen, Cultural Affairs Commission gets contacted first in terms of the campus climate is not okay. And the one thing I don't want to hear is we went to this specific office and they had no idea where I can get resources. If y'all aren't aware, Clear Alliance, Roddenberry Alliance, all they program the Cultural Affairs Commission heavily. So I will know if y'all know the resources or not, or if you get scholarship training. And the worst thing I want to hear is when someone says they couldn't help them.
If you're all interested, we can bring the ally training to your retreat, so that all of you on council get the ally training, by the end of the summer, early fall. And then you can arrange for your staffs to get the training on a schedule that works for your offices.
So are there additional edits to the language of the resolution that members have?
I'm not trying to argue, sorry. And I hope that like, you know, that like when I'm saying like I want like my office in it, it's not because the name and I don't want the credit for it at all. It's that IBP has always tried to take strides to help co-program like as much as we possibly can, like there's always more we can do. And I think that like kind of, I feel like I'm being held, not kind of being pushed aside because it helped with this resolution, which is fair in some way. I didn't help write it, but I also want to vote on something where I am held accountable, where I am pushing for. And that's kind of where I am called, is like, I've always felt program, like as I began an office, I've worked in it for the past 2 years, like, we've always pushed ourselves to program with these groups, like Rhode Health Lines have been programming, and these are groups that I've always been in contact with, like in IDP and as facilities, like commission, we're the like, my year was the one that really tried to help push through, like the single cell bathrooms, like that's something that I've always been, in my offices that I've been part of, I've always been interested in, and that's kind of where I want it, is that I want students to know that like our office, IDP, is a place to go. I don't need it for the recognition, but like, I hope you personally enough where like, I'm not looking for that. It's that I want students that do see this resolution, that want to see the vote for tomorrow, like, see that also the IBP office is a great resource to go to because we have already co-programmed those like resources. We know about that.
And it's really not about like, and I don't want to be like argumentative either. It's just about like again, like it's just about that advocacy for the single cell restrooms. It's for the funding. It's for the outreach training. And as we said, we will be the accountability police and make sure that that goes through. At the end of the resolution, it does say that as USAC, we will have the outreach training and everything like that. It's just that, I mean, like, again, like Michael Starr said it, like last night, or last week. that you can't have 13 people like all put in their input. We can't all go to like the advocacy offices too. So that's why it's not that, oh, like we'll specifically go to these offices. I know that like LGBT Center, Allow Me Health Alliance, Free Alliance, all program with that. But I just think that for this resolution to like move forward, like that is the assembly that we will have. But it's not saying that no office won't have that. It's saying that we're accountable for those 3 advocacy efforts. I think that like remember when I could bring up the time we texted and like you were just like, oh, I wasn't like, and it's not about writing resolutions, it's more about just keeping us accountable. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like
I'm going to, since it seems like we're having a discussion right here, I'm gonna ask one more time if anyone wants to propose any actual changes to this language. Okay.
So, I'm very comfortable with taking out the rest of the where let it be resolved that makes it more comfortable, because I can see what you're saying. And I also see what a lot of girls say, where it makes you feel isolated. It's just at the end of the put, let it be further resolved undergraduate students registration, council support, X, Y, Z. It's just the idea that I honestly love accountability police, so I'm not gonna be at your door every single day asking you to be pregnant, but also it's just like yourself knowing to push that through your office. So I completely understand taking that point out, I've said it 3 times now. I think it's just the idea, I haven't been hearing responses, I think I've heard from Zoe that she said I can speak on behalf of myself, my office, that it was done. I heard from Sabrina, I think he has always been doing that work already. And so, that's what I'm saying. I think what we need to hear is just that all of us are on board to actually do the work, and not just say, well, I voted for it, so that must mean I support it. There's different ways to support it.
Okay, so does someone want to propose a specific change?
Well, we can take it out.
Yeah,
If
you
y'all
can take it
all
out.
verbally agree to
Yeah.
it, there are minutes.
So what does the council members think about what Amy's proposal? Does anyone have that specific proposal, actually?
I mean, I know Amy's voice probably was just really fine with taking out the 4 names, and I was mentioned, I've already been working on it. I spoke to Div last week when he asked me, we actually followed up, he did a great job, I was gonna reach out to him, but again, like he called out, like it's been a very stressful time for all of us, not just you for like working on it. But I think it's extremely important, like how you mentioned the factor of accountability, and me personally, again, I would love to work on this, and I'm not trying to do it for the title or the name whatsoever, but I think, for me, I've worked at the BRC as an alliance for group dialogue. I've been at these different dialogues, not just in the LGBTQ community, but a lot of social and contentious issues that happen here on campus. And, whether it's advocacy work through the AC office or through, the Women Empowerment Campaign, whatever areas of, research that I can provide for students who come and reach out to me, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm not gonna hide behind shadows and not know the answers. And if I don't know, then I'll have to take notes for them, and I can say that.
So additional responses to Amy's suggestions from council members maybe who haven't had a chance to speak before would like to voice their opinions on this?
I am comfortable with Amy's suggestion, but I also just want to point out, David, I appreciate how you're honest, and I want to reiterate some of that honesty. I think I sense some bitterness in people reaching out to you for this resolution. And like you said, pointed out that Michael Stone said that every office can't go advocate, every office can't go be held accountable. And that's kind of the same thing with writing the resolution. You can't have all 13 offices write the resolution. Because like you said, it's just too much, too much splashing hands. That's why we have authors who represent all of Usac. Next time, you're not going to be there to write every resolution. And like you said, it's stressful. So that's why we did the other work. You write a resolution, someone writes a resolution, but we all agree upon it, we all understand it.
And it wasn't like, oh, everyone can write a resolution. It was like, at least, hey, like, text me, you can't come to the, text me, you can't come to the dialogue. There were like at least 7 events where no one really responded to anything. It was that kind of participation that was needed for me to feel like, oh, okay, the USAC Council will do this. Like, they will come to these events. They will contact me if they can't come. It was that. It wasn't writing a simple resolution. I mean, Amy, won awards for writing resolutions. Like, she can do it. Like, she helped me out so hard. But, like, it's just that, hey, like,
Jamie, can you come to this? Like, it's an easy way to just be like, hey, Jim, I can't vote. Please tell me how it went. Or please, have you taken notes? Can you see, like, it's that type of reaching out that really does make someone comfortable writing everyone's name. And that's why there is that bitterness right now, because like Rue and Dion, Amy, and Zach are the only people that were like, hey, I can't go to this, oh, I can go to this. And that's what hurts. I mean, like, it hurts a community that has, like, is scared to leave their dorm room, because people, like, they think that everyone around the corner thinks the same thing that was posted. And I think that, like, yes, we need to focus on that, but I mean, like, that's like just what I'm saying. Like, if I can't count on you to text me back and be like, hey, y'all, like, I can't go to this, but I can go to this, please send me the notes for that. How can I keep you accountable for like amateur trainings if I'm not like on your back already? Like, I mean, it's an open-ended question. Oh gosh, okay.
Well, hold on, one thing I want to say, I think it's, okay, speak on it, and then I.
No, like, you obviously very passionate, and that's why, like, personally, I trust you to write this. Like, I don't think, like, you're that expert on this, you did your research, and like, you're more passionate about this issue, that's why you're at all. That's why you wrote it all.
One thing I'd like to say, I think that this is a great discussion to have, and I think that some of these discussions maybe we want to continue after the council meeting in discussions. But I think something I just really want you all to keep in mind that this is our first resolution. I think that it's a learning process, and that just like really highlight in terms of individual council members. But I just would like to see if, after what Amy said before, is there a consensus amongst the council to change that language to what Amy agreed? Just by like a nod of head, is that something that we all agree with, all the voting members?
Changes in one day.
I think what Amy originally
One
proposed.
change,
Yeah.
because if it was verbal agreement, then we would take it
So
out.
I think that we see an agreement at the council table, so I would suggest to the authors review that. Seeing that there's agreement.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you can take it out.
Okay, so if that's something you like to do, then let's go ahead and let's make that change right now.
Yeah, just like one thing,
So someone go ahead and right.
if you're not comfortable like following up with everything this resolution says, because it speaks on behalf of all of us, you're all elected council members, so, you know, voting yes for this resolution and not following up with it, that looks, you should think about, you know, reflect on how that, like, reflects on your office in general. You know, we all have a responsibility to follow up on our promises, so just kind of at least take the personal commitment to learn more about it. You know, like, I kind of, you know, took this as an opportunity to learn more about, you know, transphobia in general. That's a community that I had no knowledge about prior to this. After doing all this research, I know a lot more, and like, I hope you all will take the same commitment to understanding, because that's what we need. We don't need complacency. We don't need our names being on here. We don't need our offices. All we need is to, you know, personally make that commitment to like actually get out there and teach ourselves about this. We're representing all of these people.
So are there additional changes to the language of the resolution? Okay, then I think I would call the question on the changes to the language aspect. Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to approve as amended.
Okay, can I entertain a motion to approve as amended?
I move to approve as amended.
Okay, then by Christina. So this is not to actually approve the resolution, just to approve these changes.
Oh, then I didn't want to clarify. Sorry, I thought we were approving then.
Can you make the vote to approve what is in front of us, just by saying, I move to approve the amended resolution support.
Okay, so this is now.
I move to approve the, and you go to
You can do both. Usually you just want to vote right now on this amendment. You can choose that you want to vote on the entire resolution with the changes that have been requested. Or you can do two separate votes.
And that's a point of clarification myself. Before we move into this vote, are there additional changes to the resolution that council members have?
Just one thing, it should say flood, and the citation needs to be made, but it's.
Yeah, go ahead. I have no already.
It's a citation.
Any additional, Dion, before I call the question? Any additional? Okay, can I entertain a motion?
You already have a motion
Oh.
and a second.
Oh, we already have a motion. So now we can go straight into a vote.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. So now, I'll just let them go ahead and fix that really quick before we take the vote. Okay? Okay, then all those in favor, please raise your hand. 13. All those opposed? All those abstaining? So a 13-0-0 vote, the resolution has been.
Oh, okay, no, first one to me is what I just want to.
Okay, great. Our first resolution is council passed. I'm really excited. Thank you so much to all the authors for so much work. Thank you for this lively discussion for the council. I think that this is a great first experience in writing resolution, and I think going forward, resolutions are going to be very effective opportunity for the council to voice its opinion on issues relating to student life here. So now we move into new business, and we'll discuss our summer meeting schedule. So with that, I wanted to go around and talk to all the members of the council, and we can kind of just to see exactly when we're going to establish meetings for the summer. So can we start with Rafi, and then if any, or I'm sorry, just single out your but if anyone has any, like, can anyone like suggest dates that they specifically will not be at UCLA to be here for council, if you have that information?
Right. I'll be gone from June 19th through the end of July. I will be able to have Marcy here, but the thing is that UCSA Congress is August 11th through 14th. Hopefully, as many of us as possible can be going to that. So we definitely should be around for that meeting.
Okay, great. The council members? Okay. Amy?
I tentatively will be away till June 18th.
June 18th?
Yeah.
Okay. You said you mean July?
June.
So after June 18th, you'll be here? Okay. Amy? Additional?
I will be on June 10th to September 10th. As we're studying abroad.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, Ashley?
I'll be free after June 18th.
Okay, good.
I'll be free after July 23rd, but I have a window of opportunity during June 19th through 25th. For so cancel July through just for
July?
June. And then I'm free after July.
Okay, additional council members?
I'll definitely be gone the week of July 3rd.
I know I don't have to vote, but I will be here on the 4th. I'll be here for all of the days until the end of May.
14th of June?
Yes. That's at the end of June. End of June.
Okay.
I'll be gone June 15th all the way to July 6th.
June 15th to July 6th. Sabrina?
Just for quorum reasons, I will probably be gone the entire time. Like, I'm gone the entire time, there's a chance I can come for a couple meetings, but I don't have it.
So you will not be present this summer?
I'm gone June 10th to September 13th.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so I think, Ruth, do you have your summer?
I have like several, August 4th through 9th.
So when are you gonna be here? Maybe that'll be easier for me.
I guess the easiest thing for me would be like suggestions, just like weekends and people. I don't know.
We traditionally gonna have council meetings on the weekends, so I don't know. But, so, would you say you would not be here for the summer then?
I'll be here for, I can practice.
Okay, so, it's alright if you're not definite right now, let's do that as a motion, and then I guess, because we don't have that.
So I haven't taken any of my tickets home yet, because I knew this might be it. My parents want me to come home before everyone else, maybe around the end. That'll probably be maybe in June. So the first week of June, I might be gone. June? Yeah, or I mean July.
Okay, so, because it's
End of June.
So end of June to like mid-July, early June, you know?
Mid-July. Yeah, my month starts June 7th, I believe, and then just lasts 30 days. So, anytime.
Okay, I think.
If I'm following the numbers and getting the math right, it looks like you can't possibly make quorum between June 19th and July 6th.
Well, great. How about this way then? Okay, so, yeah.
And that's our current quorum of 10, right? Or
That's
just
a
the
quorum of seven, which is the lowest you can possibly go.
Okay. Wait, Zach, I don't think I have.
I'll be interning in downtown, so I'll be.
So it should be, okay, great, it's easy.
Maybe one,
Are you over here?
I'll be there.
Send it over here also.
Actually, sorry, I will be here from the 23rd to 27th, if that makes a difference. Of June? Of June, yeah.
Okay. So I guess this is a point for administrative representative. During the summer, our meetings usually like, I mean, going off last summer, I was not present, I was interning, not on campus, but was it every 2 weeks that they said, or?
In the summer, there have been years where council met every week. There have been years where council met every other week. There have been years where council met once or twice a month and picked the specific dates that you knew you had enough people to make quorum. So there isn't a set strategy. I believe last year it was about 2 meetings a month, but it wasn't in every other, it was based on the schedules.
Okay, so based off.
And you also have the ability to change the weekday of the meeting and to change the start time, whether it starts a little earlier or a little later. What you can't do is hold council on religious observance. So you need to stay away from the weekends to respect the different Sabbath periods, the different students who might want to come out for public comment wouldn't be able to come.
Okay, so I guess then just looking over all your availabilities, I would suggest that, so we're gonna have one more council meeting next week for sure. I asked y'all to approve a few more appointments, and that's gonna be a pretty brief meeting. But after that, I would suggest that maybe we, take a few weeks of break from council, since from June 19th to July 6th, we're not gonna have a quorum. So maybe we wanna have a break from the weeks of, starting on June 14th, 21st, 28th, and 5th. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Do you think 4 weeks is too much to miss?
We won't have quorum on the week of June 19th to 25th.
Okay. Well, I guess then we have no choice but to not have council during those weeks. Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, I think that's just, this is not, I mean, you're not really
Do you want me to work backwards since it's more people here than this summer? I don't know that, because are there certain meetings you definitely want to have over the summer? Does that help at all? I don't know.
Like, I don't know, like, it should probably have been like
doodle sent out, to everyone's availability or
Maybe
something.
not if we need
That everyone discussed, but
Just do it next meeting. Okay.
But the only thing is, in the middle of July, our budget needs to be approved, not only at the beginning of July, our budget needs to be approved for this next year, because then it needs to be reconfirmed at the finance meeting, because the finance meeting, which takes place in the middle of July. So we wanted to make sure we at least have a meeting for beginning of, at the beginning of July to approve that budget.
So I think,
But what if we want to have a forum during that time?
I think July
Yeah,
12th,
but-
if we wanted to, I think a suggestion would be for the budget meeting specifically, I know that's a very important, what is July 12th? That's a Tuesday, would that be appropriate for HCC?
I have to, I'll check.
We had that.
Yeah.
Based on what I heard, then I would propose a meeting July 12th, maybe another meeting on the 26th of July, and then August, it seems like most people are starting to be back. So if we wanted to resume weekly, maybe bi-weekly for August and weekly starting in September, something like that, I don't know. I was going to propose a meeting Tuesday, July 12th, Tuesday, July 26th, and then what it sounded like was most people are back at the beginning of August, so we could either continue bi-weekly for the month of August and start weekly in September, or we could start weekly in
Stephanie.
Yeah, with that idea of the library meetings, I think that's what last summer. My only concern for me would be the fund allocations, and there still are programming events happening in July, and then those usually have to be approved, at least once every 2 weeks, so if it's not possible to meet, would it be possible to do like an online voting with them, just for fund allocation?
Yeah, for fund allocations, I know something that we did last year a few times, that everybody would email in their vote, and electronically, so like paper, vote, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's something that we could bring back this year, given that like we have a less sporadic schedule going on. So I think right now, I totally agree with Rafi, July 12th, July 26th. So you want to say something?
I was just wondering when the meeting was to approve, Patty, maybe this question for you. Sure. When did you say in the middle of July you would meet?
Just call and text for it, find out. So they're usually on Fridays, so if we have a meeting on the 12th, should be okay. It may be that Friday that they're, but I just, I'm waiting to hear the exact date, but if that's the first day we have a quorum,
And we could change it to Monday or another day in the week if that's easier for people. Speaking of before we maybe go for the rest of it, do we want to move to 6 o'clock? Do you want to stay at 7? Or, I personally wouldn't mind if we moved it to 6 o'clock. I think that might just be easier, it's early in the day, get out of the way, do we want to remain, so during our summer session, do we want to continue to be Tuesdays? Is everyone good with that? And then I would suggest 6 p.m. Do people have any issues with that?
Is traffic worse at 6 p.m.?
That will change my entire availability.
We did it at 6. Okay, sure. Okay, then I'm okay with staying at 7 p.m. Tuesdays. And I would, did someone have their hand raised over there? So then looking at the calendar, after June 26th, then our next one, potentially August 9th.
Wait, we need to laugh,
Yeah.
So the 12th, 17th, 26th,
Then August 9th would be another 2 weeks. Yeah, August 9th, and then August 23rd. And then, yeah,
Wait, was there July 26th you said?
yeah,
July 19, 26, August 9th, and August 23rd?
July 12th. July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, August 23rd. And then I think the next one would be September 6th. And then from there, I don't know that.
No, I won't be here, I'll be here.
But I think by then we'll have form for sure. So I think that once we get back to September 6th, then we should just go back to weekly meetings.
Okay, so then it's August 9th and 23rd for the rest of it?
Yeah, because based on everyone's availability, I think that would be appropriate, you know?
So the first one is July 12th, and the last one is September 6th. I mean, the last one you mentioned.
Well, for the after September 6th, the bi-weekly would end, and then we'd go back and just do it this week.
So we're gonna have it with the 26th?
Yeah,
So July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, August 23rd, September 6th, 13th, 20th, 22nd.
yeah, after September 6th, and then we'll have a, and then I think the school week starts week 0, which is the 20th or the 20th? I think that's 0 week.
The Monday is
It starts on the 19th. Okay, so the 20 would be back when everyone is back in school. And so that is the week that, I guess I have just a point of clarification for the administrators. For appointments over the summer, if we approve any appointments over the summer, then we approve them when school resumes in the fall, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, because I've said, just about all the council, I've received a lot of appointments, but I know that I'd like to fill a lot of them on an interim basis over the summer, if possible, just because we have a lot of interest in applicants, so we can be here over the summer, mindful of them, like familiarize themselves with the positions, if the council chooses to approve them. But, and then we can just go through that process and reapprove when we get back, when we have, when the school resumes September 20th. Yeah.
Do UCLA board of directors get reappointed?
Well, we're approving them next week.
And
Yeah,
they
appointed to the council. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, since like next week, school will still be in session, like, so campus. So the appointments that assuming the council approves them, for community activities committee and, board of directors, those will be full terms when we approve them next, assuming we did. So I think that, so just to reiterate, we're gonna continue to do Tuesdays, 7 p.m. And those dates that we already all wrote down, July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, August 23rd, and September 6th will be our summer council meetings. And in addition to that, for, when we have fund allocations, we'll do those over email, so everyone will just like give a yes, no, or abstain via email, so that we can continue to fund, contingency and other sources for student groups throughout the summer.
The funding would still be voted on at this.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Usually they're just voted on at this.
I think, Steph was saying between the weeks of June
Oh,
after announcing to July 12th, because there are going to be programs for the.
Oh, okay, yeah, I apologize, yeah. Because I know we're gonna have a 4-week hiatus due to quorum. But then after, so I think that is, does anyone else have any other points of discussion or comments they'd like to make in regards to, is everyone okay with that? Okay, then, we'll do quorum after that, we'll do a separate vote on quorum. So, can I entertain a motion to approve the summer meeting times and dates? Sabrina?
I move to approve our summer schedule times and dates. Dates of that.
The second by Ariel. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 13. All those opposed? And all those that abstain? To a 13-0-0 vote, our summer schedule for council has been approved. Great. And now, we'll move into our next item of new business, which is our meetings requirements. So now that we have our schedule established for those dates that, beginning in July 12th, we have to have a minimum of 7. And then obviously, we can adjust the quorum anywhere, anything above that. So for those dates, just by a show of hands, when I.
Clarification. 7 needs, like, majority of 7 or 7 total, and then
You have, in order to take any action, you have to have, whatever number you set as a quorum, that number of actual elected officers has to be in the room.
Okay. So it's not the, okay.
Right, if you had, if you went with a quorum of 7 and you had 7 officers present and the rest were all proxies, only the 7 officers, as the chair, so only the 6 officers would have a vote. And then however many majority votes in a given vote would make.
Okay, so it's not the majority vote, it's the all elected officers.
Officers would have to be in the room to take action.
Okay. So now, just to get a head count of quorum, I'm gonna name off each date, and it's just by a show of hands to determine how many council members are present, so we can see if we need to adjust quorum from 10. So on the date of July 12th, to be present, can you please raise your hand? Eight. Okay, great. So of 8, and then including me, that was 9. So we'll have 9 council members present for. So that means that we need to adjust quorum.
You're going to set quorum at the same number for all summer,
Oh.
not week by week.
Okay.
So when you figure out what your lowest common denominator is, that's where you need to set quorum for everything from 7/12 through, let's say the end of August.
Okay. Okay. So now for July 26th, if you'll be present, please raise your hand. 9 again. For August 9th, by show of hands, if you'll be present, August 9th. 1, 2, August 9th. Okay, August 9th, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 again. August 23rd, by show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 again. And then for September 6th, I show hands of the week of September 6th. 1, 2, yes? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And then after that, I think based on your schedule, everyone, our next meeting would be 13th. So I think we have that for quorum. So I guess based on that number, then would a number that we suggest for quorum be 8 or 7? 7. I think we should go with 7 just to be safe, just in case if things happen where council members are unavailable. So is everyone, do we have a consensus on 7 to the quorum for those summer dates? Any objections? Okay, so quorum at 7. Can I entertain a motion to approve summer quorum for 7 council members?
I move to approve quorum for our summer council meetings to 7 new members.
Okay, second? Second by Rue. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 6, 8, 10, 13. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? So 13-0-0 vote. We have approved summer quorum. Great. So now we have our summer in order. And now we'll move on to announcements. Starting with Sabrina.
Nothing. Just Usac Final Study Hall will be this Friday after the Usac Alumni Gala, if you want to come hang out and study.
Hassan Minaj, of course, watched the Daily Show here on Friday. Yeah, she definitely come today. He's super funny. He's going to be talking funny some jokes. So I think that's at 8 p.m. on June 3rd. I think 30 now. That's after that.
Doug?
My staff applications are closed and I'm going to be sending out decisions tomorrow for my staff. And I just wanted to thank CEC for putting on such a great event for me and James and autograph last week. So.
Go.
Just as ready to vote, please remember to vote.
Great, thank you.
I've heard great things about Judge Reggie, so
Woo!
I'm going to Amy.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay,
I'm right over there.
now Amy.
I'm gonna say it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's up there, never mind. Yes, we sold out 3 times. We kept having to scramble for more tickets, until the fire marshal finally was like, you are at absolute maximum capacity, you can't let anyone else in. I heard some people like came through the woods, like, yeah, I heard people like came in through there, that's just. But this is actually the first time in 6 years we made a profit. And just our ticket sales alone, last night we calculated roughly $22,400. So, it worked out despite all the haters. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. Congrats. Zach. Good down.
The Thursday Burn Consent Coalition is hosting Feminism is Cool in response to feminism cancer in the afternoon viewpoint conference room at 6 p.m.
Down. Okay, so that will, oh wait, I do want to make one announcement. I'm just saying, please, if you know, as you're just saying, your offices and your any people, and unfortunately, not being, as I know, we can't accommodate everyone who applies to our offices, please, you know, make sure like you are letting your networks know that there are so many presidential appointments that are available for students to apply to in so many different areas on campus. So I just really want to encourage you all to, let your friends know, let your offices know that, you can serve in an office and you can be an appointment. And I think there was some confusion over the last week of like, they could apply to be in an office, they could also serve as an appointment, on such a judicial board. But, aside from that, I think for the most part, just like really, just know that these appointments are available for students, and I really, want to aggressively fill as many as we can in the summer and throughout the fall, so just something to keep in mind. And then I'll do it for announcements, and now is assigning the attendance sheet. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:57?
I move to adjourn the meeting at 57. Yeah.
Second, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? So 13:00, meeting has been adjourned at 8:57. Okay, great. So now we'll,
Oh, I'm not sure where the attendance sheet went,
oh, it's right here, yeah? Okay, there you go. Okay, so now we'll conclude with good luck.